Induction for new staff in an early years setting. Aims. The aim of this online course is to help managers and practitioners with the knowledge required to execute tasks associated with the induction cycle. On completion of this online course, the learner will be able to know the induction needs of a setting and know what is meant by the term induction. Introduction. When recruiting staff, it is vital that they get a good induction to prepare them for their role and to ensure that they are complying with policies, procedures and legislation. This course looks at staff recruitment, induction and training and consists of the following sections. Section 1, Staff Recruitment. Section 2, Induction. Section 3, Training and CPD. And Section 4, Case Studies. Staff recruitment. There are many things to consider when recruiting staff to work in early years settings. Providers must ensure that people looking after children are suitable to fulfil the requirements of their role. Ofsted 2021. However, what does suitable mean? Suitable means that all individuals working within the nursery setting are capable of working with children. They must also have an enhanced DBS check in place. This checks that they do not have a criminal record or have been barred from looking after children in the past. DBS checks. The documentation required for both standard and enhanced DBS applications is set out by the Disclosure and Barring Service and is as follows. One document that is either a current and valid passport, driver's licence or birth certificate, and two other documents such as a P45, marriage certificate, utility bill or bank statement, one of which must show proof of address. Staff must not be left alone with children or allowed to perform intimate care routines until they have a valid DBS in place. Suitability. Depending on the role that the new staff member will be performing, will rely on their suitability. For example, if they are a room leader, they will need a Level 3 qualification. If they are an assistant, they will only need a Level 2 qualification. Once you've made a short list of suitable candidates, you need to think about the sorts of questions you will ask when you arrange for them to come for an interview. Make sure that they bring copies of identification and also birth certificates and certificates of training qualifications with them on the day. Advertising. You can advertise for staff on social media and your website, in the local press or through a reputable agency. Think about the wording of your advert to make sure you get suitable applicants. Take time to describe the role in as much detail as possible so the right people apply. Some settings invite the interviewee to stay and talk to the staff and children to involve the whole setting in the vetting process. Take time to go through all of the applications afterwards to see who made the best impact and has the most to offer the setting, or who would fit the role better. Section 2, Induction. Induction. Once you've selected your staff member, you need to think about a start date and what you need to know before starting at the setting. A staff handbook with policies and procedures, attendance and employment standards is a good idea, so you have something to refer to at induction meetings. It would also include pay arrangements, disciplinary procedures and CPD requirements. Assign a mentor who will help settle the new staff member in and help check on their performance at induction. Ensure they have completed the following: application form, 2 references, medical questionnaire, equal opportunities form, DBS check cleared, and job description issued. First aid. Do they have a paediatric first aid certificate, and when is it due for renewal? It is good practice for each member of staff who works with young children to have a paediatric first aid certificate so that they can help and support children in times of emergency. This is renewable every 3 years. Safeguarding. Make sure they understand and have signed the policy and procedures for the setting. Safeguarding is everyone's responsibility. Therefore, all staff need to know the procedures to follow when suspecting that a child is being harmed or abused and how to safeguard them. Go through the required paperwork with the staff member and show them what to do if they suspect that a child is being abused and what is expected from the setting with regards to this. Training is valid for every 3 years. Food hygiene. Do they have a valid certificate, and when is it due for renewal? If staff are preparing snacks or cooking meals for children, they need to obtain a food hygiene certificate, which is usually valid for 3 years. This includes any food storage and how to prepare food correctly, as each setting will be inspected by Environmental Health Department or their local council and rated as to how they score them 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest rating. Policies and procedures. Make sure they read these and sign to say that they abide by them. It might be a good idea to have a policy of the month for staff to go through together and to be able to ask questions or clarify what is meant by some of the content and how to comply with the policy in the workplace. Uniform and appearance. Issue a uniform if available and ensure they know about expectations on appearance at work. Staff may need to be aware of either policy regarding appearance, such as covering up any tattoos, makeup or jewellery, or footwear, for example, so they are able to comply with them. Fire drill. Organise a walkthrough of the fire drill and arrange for one to be held so that the new staff member knows what to do in an emergency. Have an evacuation procedure displayed for all staff, parents and visitors of the setting to see and know where the exits are on the map of the building. Practice the fire drill once a month and ensure that a record is kept on how long it takes to get everyone out of the building. Use different exits for this where possible. PIPs and appraisals. Explain that performance improvement plans are in place and all staff have them. Hold appraisal once a month at first and then at intervals as indicated by their level of working. Keep focused on what it is that the staff member needs to improve on and how they can attain this. Give them SMART targets to achieve this and work along the job description form and see which areas they are good at and which areas need some training or support. Opening procedures. Make sure they know early shift routines and opening up a working setting, especially getting the rooms ready for the children. And closing procedures. Make sure they know the late shift routines and closing down procedures when children are gone. Room routines. Make sure they know the routines and expectations of the room they'll be joining, whether that's the baby room, toddler room or preschool. Cleanliness procedures. Make them aware that it is everyone's role and of the procedures in place. Show them where the equipment is kept and how much is used, etc. Also tell them about the routines for doing the cleaning and what is expected of them. Allergies. Talk through any allergies that the children may have so that they are aware of these at snack times and meal times. Medicines. Make sure they understand and will implement the medicine policy and procedures, ensuring training is in place for any medicines or procedures that need to be given. Serving meals. Go through routines and ways of doing things within the setting or for the different ages of the children. Ensure if looking after babies they know how to prepare formula bottles or heat up any milk brought from home correctly. Make sure they know how to cut up food that may provide a choking hazard, such as grapes and cherry tomatoes. Use of baby room, toddler room, preschool room equipment. Go through any special instructions on how to use the equipment safely for each room. Signing in and out. Make sure they know where to do this and its importance. Remind them of the fire procedures and emergency evacuations and the importance of knowing who is in the building at all times. Mobile phones. Show them where they are to be stored while at work. Remind them of the policy on mobile phones and their use within the setting and the importance of this for safeguarding children. Facebook. Go through nursery policy on not having parents as friends on Facebook or other social media. Paperwork. Go through observation sheets and assessment check procedures and other paperwork with them. Key person role. Make sure they know the implications and importance of their role. Training. Make sure they understand the importance and requirements of ongoing CPD. Finally, tick off all the induction processes as you go through them and get them to sign to say that they've received this information. Review. It's a good idea to review induction every 4 weeks until you're satisfied that the candidate is suitable for continuing as a staff member. Extend the probationary period or induction period until you are satisfied that they can comply with the policies and procedures required. Supervision and appraisals. Once the induction process is over, staff need to have regular supervision meetings and appraisals. Performance improvement plans are a good way of keeping staff performing to their job descriptions. Using SMART targets will also help. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time-bound. Section 3. Training and CPD. Continuous professional development, CPD, is vital to keep staff abreast of any legislative changes or job role requirements throughout their careers. Ongoing training provides practitioners with new focus and insights into their job roles. When considering CPD, think about the staff members' needs for training and their interests in learning something new. Ongoing mandatory training needs to be done for the following: food hygiene, paediatric first aid, and child protection or safeguarding. Each of this is renewable every 3 years. Role-specific training. There may be a need for other training such as fire marshal, forest school, SENCO, WENCO and ENCO. SENCO is Special Educational Needs and Disability Coordinator, WENCO is a Wellbeing and Emotional Needs Coordinator, and ENCO is the Equality Needs Coordinator. Age and stage appropriate training. Staff may need to be trained to care for specific age needs of the age range of group of children that they're caring for. For example, 0 to 2-year-olds, 2 to 3-year-olds, or 3 to 5-year-olds. Keeping track. Keeping a file on CPD for each member of staff, starting the date they took the training, the qualification, and certificates if appropriate, and the impact this has had on the setting. Use staff meetings to cascade training learned from courses to other staff members so that everyone gets to hear new ideas and ways of thinking and doing things. Case studies. Case study 1. Megan applied for a job as a nursery nurse within a setting and had a level 3 diploma in early years and paediatric first aid and food hygiene certificates. She had worked in a setting before which gained a good Ofsted inspection for which she was part of the process. During her interview, it became clear that she was more suited to the older age group and more experienced with this age range of children. Megan was offered the job of nursery officer and expressed an interest in one day becoming a room leader. The manager noted this on Megan's file and set about preparing her for CPD training for the role and monitoring her performance. Megan showed the manager and her colleague that she was capable of more responsibility, and the following year she transitioned to room leader. Case Study 2. Teresa had been employed as a room leader and was in her role for a few years when a new manager took over the nursery setting. The new manager had been asked to ensure that the setting achieved a good rating at their next Ofsted inspection, as they were currently graded requires improvement. They had been asked to improve their quality of teaching and interactions with children, and the Ofsted report and would be inspected again in 6 months. The manager observed the staff and interactions with children and set about offering some training for them. Teresa did not want to do any of the new training, as she felt that she had always done things a certain way and did not need to improve her interactions with the children. The new line manager had a meeting with Teresa to explain the implications of her non-compliance and issued a verbal warning to her. She also placed her on a performance improvement plan and monitored her progress. Teresa failed to comply with any of the new initiatives put into place and eventually lost her job. A new room leader was appointed, and conditions and interactions with children improved. On the next inspection, they received a good rating. Sometimes it means that the person is not suitable for their role and needs to move on so that the right candidate can be found. This means that the children get the best possible care and education. Summary. Key points. Providers must ensure that people looking after children are suitable to fulfil the requirements of their roles. Staff must not be left alone with children or allowed to perform intimate care routines until they have a valid DBS in place. A staff handbook with policies and procedures, attendance and employment standards is a good idea, so that you have something to refer to at induction meetings. Assign a mentor who will help settle all new staff in and help check on their performance at induction. Tick off all the induction processes you go through with them and get them to sign that they have received this information. You have completed this online course. You should now be able to explain the induction needs of a setting and explain what is meant by the term induction. Thank you for listening. Here are my contact details. Please subscribe to this channel. There are new updates every week. Thank you.